If you wanna know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. If you wanna know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. The power's in our hands. Love changes all. What serves life will stand. What does not will fall.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Hear us now. Lend us your clarity to see the path ahead. Lend us your wisdom to see the choices that must be made. Lend us your strength to do as we must, to stand as protectors of the earth. Oh-ho! I believe some of you have got ribbons. Virtual ribbons of different colours. Blue for the clear rivers and oceans of our world. Green for the plants all around us. Red for the living blood of all creatures. And black for the bitter sorrow of lives lost. Hold your ribbons aloft now. Hold them aloft and show the world your colours. Yay, we stand. I would ask you now to take a silent moment to mourn all the life that is lost already. All of the beauty and mystery gone forever from the world.
Anybody else been crying? Yes. We're here because of grief. We're here because hundreds of thousands of our fellow humans have already died of climate crisis. And millions of our fellow species have been burnt to death in fires across the planet in the last years. We have a hero here from Sweden, Greta. Thank you from our hearts coming to the Extinction Rebellion, Greta. Greta says, it's time to break the rules. What do you say?
I remember thinking that it was very strange. That humans, who are an animal species, among others, could be capable of changing the Earth's climate. Because if we were, and if it was really happening, we wouldn't be talking about anything else. As soon as you turned on the TV, everything would be about that. Headlines, radio, newspapers. You would never read or hear about anything else. Headlines, radio, newspapers. You would never hear about As if there was a world war going on. But no one ever talked about it. If burning fossil fuels was so bad that it threatened our very existence, how could we just continue like before? If the emissions have to stop, then we must stop the emissions.
If the emissions have to stop, then we must stop the emissions.
To me, that is black or white. There are no grey areas when it comes to survival. Either we go on as a civilization or we don't. We have to change. Because how can we expect countries like India or Nigeria to care about the climate crisis if we who already have everything don't care even a second about it or our actual commitments to the Paris Agreement will affect my entire life and the lives of my children and grandchildren. When school started in August this year, I decided that this was enough. I sat myself down on the ground outside the Swedish Parliament. I school strike for the climate.
In September, the UN General Secretary said in alarm to the world, we've got just 2 years. 2 years to radically cut our carbon emissions or humanity faces extinction. And what has happened? What have we heard? Did we hear emergency statements in Parliament? Did we hear emergency meetings of governments around the world? Did world leaders meet in emergency? No. We heard silence. The American government says no. The Australian government says no. The Brazilian people have just elected a man who says no. And the British government has said nothing. The IPC has said we've got 12 years to get to zero or we're facing extinction. Radical runaway global change. And what has our government's response been? We got this week a budget, a disgraceful budget from the 1950s that destroys the 2050s.
There's a reason that I'm here as Clive Lewis, MP for Sustainable Economics, and it's because I had a little bit of a fight getting the title, and making it about sustainable economics, because I understood quite clearly that it is possible, although still a long shot, that we could solve climate change and still destroy our planet. There are so many other planetary boundaries that we are crossing at the moment, and it's important that out here, we change the way we live fundamentally, our economy fundamentally. And it's not just about climate, it's about biodiversity, it's about water, it's about nitrogen. Some of us in there understand that, and some of us are working on it. And I understand as well that you guys are feeling impatient. You're here to say that if we decide to break the law in the interest of the planet, in the interest of future generations, well, you know what? I support you in that. But peaceful civil disobedience is something that the greats like Martin Luther King, Gandhi, some of them around this square have taken part in over many, many years, fighting vested interests and powers. But I'll tell you something else, and I'll end on this. I don't want you to have to break the law. I want to change the law so that the people who end up behind bars are those that destroy the planet and burn the planet. They're the ones that should be breaking the law, not you. Thank you very much.
Clive Lewis. Thank you, Clive.
And the rest of us. They count on us working hard, earning them money, don't forget that, believing that we will climb the ladder and gain wealth just like they have. But that's a lie. We are not all born equal, and we do not all have equal opportunities. How many stories have you heard of honest people working hard all their lives only to die before receiving a penny of their pensions? Don't forget that while the rich get richer just from owning things, it will be the global poor that are hit hardest by climate change. We all suffer the consequences of the few, of the decisions and the actions of the few who have wealth and power. Their short-sighted decisions motivated by greed and apathy for humanity, and their actions which have resulted in the extinction that we face today.
The sea, I swear on the life-giving living earth with all the passion in me that I will never rest until all oppression is ended. And I will never rest, no, until all oppression is dead. I swear to the tribes of all nations, I swear to I swear on the life-giving living earth with all the courage it takes, and I will never rest, no, until all oppression is ended, and I will never rest, no, until all oppression is dead. Swear to the people with power that I have power to stand and to defend our land with love, with compassion, with trust. And I will never rest, no, until all oppression is ended. And I will never rest, no, until all oppression is dead. And I will never rest, no, until all oppression is ended. And I will never rest, no, until all oppression is dead.
We hold the following to be true. This is our darkest hour. Humanity finds itself embroiled in an event unprecedented in its history. One which, unless immediately addressed, will catapult us further into the destruction of all we hold dear. This nation, its peoples, our ecosystem, and the future of ecosystems to come. The science is clear. We are in the 6th mass extinction event, and we will face catastrophe if we do not act swiftly and robustly. Biodiversity is being annihilated around the world. Our seas are poisoned, acidic, and rising. Flooding and desertification will render vast tracts of land uninhabitable and lead to mass migration. Our air is so toxic that the United Kingdom is breaking the law. It harms the unborn while causing tens of thousands to die. The breakdown of our climate has begun. There will be wildfires, unpredictable superstorms, increasing famine and untold drought as food supplies and fresh water disappear. The ecological crises that are impacting upon this nation, and indeed this planet and its wildlife, can no longer be ignored, denied nor go unanswered by any beings of sound, rational thought, ethical conscience, moral concern, or spiritual belief. It becomes our sacred duty to rebel. We hereby declare the bonds of the so-called social contract to be null and void. Which the government has rendered invalid by its continuing failure to act appropriately. We call upon every principled and peaceful citizen to rise with us. We demand to be heard. To apply informed solutions to these ecological crises. And to create a national assembly. We act in peace. With ferocious love of these lands in our hearts. We act on behalf of love. Thank you.
To take non-violent direct action, because the Quaker testimony tells you that you must obey the law. But when the law takes you to a place where the inner voice, your deep inner voice, tells you that something is desperately wrong, then you are supported by your own community in taking non-violent direct action. And I believe I will be supported by Quakers across the country and that they will help to publicise what we're doing today. So let's join together, let's work together in small groups, let's build trust, let's choose good targets. This isn't about a show, this isn't about posturing, this isn't about publicity, this is about taking action that will stop the industry and the economy that's destroying our planet and other species. We need to choose good targets. We know that in the 1990s the road building programme was turned around because of non-violent direct action. We know that fracking in Lancashire has been set back by years, saving masses of carbon dioxide from entering our atmosphere. We know we can do this. We need to be skillful, we need to be brave, we need to choose good targets. We can stop the way our economy is going. We can turn this around and we can save the planet. So I say in closing, enough of false words, enough of empty promises, enough of deceit and hypocrisy. It's time for action.
The power's in our hands. Love changes all. What serves life will stand. What does not will fall. If you want to know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. If you want to know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. The power's in our hands. Love changes all. What serves life will stand. What does not will fall. If you want to know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. If you want to know where the power lies, turn and look into each other's eyes. The power's in our hands. Love changes all.
Why are we here? Why are we here? Because for decades, nobody else is doing what we are now standing up or sitting down to do. I've been in this business 33 years altogether. At the BBC, then as a freelance, at The Guardian, writing about, campaigning against the destruction of our glorious living planet. And every single year, I have heard people say, well, the government hasn't done enough, but it's a good start. Every year has been a good start. Every year there's been a beginning, but never a middle or an end to this story. And why not? Why? When so many people are so desperate to see action, it is because, though we claim to live in a democracy, in many respects it resembles a plutocracy. That where votes should count, money counts instead. That where the voice of the people should be heard, the money of the city and the fossil fuel industry and the farming lobby and the fishing industry and the auto manufacturers and the airlines lobby counts instead. We are not heard because they are heard. We are excluded because they are included. The will of the people is not done. Parliament will not do this for us. 33 years I have waited, and 33 years it has not happened. Corporations will not do this for us. And I'm sorry to say, but the big NGOs will not do this for us either. Where we need mass action, where we need radicalism instead from them, we've seen half measures. Well, this, my friends, is where the full measures begin. We are here to defend the living world that others have not defended. We are here to support the life support systems that defend us. We are here to keep fossil fuels in the ground. To get the mass livestock industry off the land. To stop the ripping apart of the oceans by super trawlers and other forms of destruction pushed by profit. To shut down airport space. To get a sensible transport policy that puts people and planet first and fossil fuel last. Above all, to dethrone economic growth as the objective of government. To replace it by the only thing that counts, which is the well-being of all the species on Earth. Ourselves and the other glorious creatures with which we share this wonderful planet. The only planet known to support life, though the intelligent bit is yet to be demonstrated.
You certainly look very beautiful, and you certainly look far more like democracy than anything that is happening in there today. And I simply want to tell you what happened when I tried to raise climate change in the budget debate on Monday. You might have noticed that the Chancellor managed to speak for over an hour in his budget without even mentioning climate change once. And when I got up to raise it, I was shouted down and had to be put down. Not put down, sat down. That's coming next. No, but seriously, I cannot tell you how important it is that you stand up for what you believe in here, because they're not going to listen to you until all of us do. I'm in there day after day trying to challenge things like the endless subsidies to fossil fuels, the new fracking that has just been given the green light, the fact that time and time again this is a government that chooses fossil fuels over cleaner, greener energy. They will not change that unless you make them change that. So I simply want to say that I'm here in solidarity with you. Thank you for what you are doing, and it is so vital you are here to make them start listening inside before it's too late. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for everything you do.
There are so many of us. We're rising now, rising now, rising now, rising now. We're rising now, rising now, rising now, rising now. We're rising. There are so many. There are so many. It's always way more fun together, right? There are so many. There are so many. There are so